All right, we're live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh shit!
So anyway,
I don't see you.
oh, you screwed it up,
I fucked
didn't
it
you?
up.
Didn't you? You're always doing this.
God damn, fucking.
What is going on with my laptop here is what I want to know.
Yeah. There's. It's not you. What the hell?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cause I don't have you up. Whoops. Daisy.
Bro, I just saw your entire search history too.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
just
dude.
nothing but porn.
Right?
All porn, all day.
Just
Wi-Fi.
all. I didn't know you were that into little people.
Yeah, the littlest possible. No, wait. Nah, I can't even
Is that,
say that.
is that so you feel tall? There we go.
There we go. We're here.
Good
We're live.
Lord.
We're good. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways, sorry for that interruption. Welcome to
Mm.
Extended Family Arcade. I'm Chris. This is Andrew. We're here to play video games and talk about really cool shit. Today we're talking about false vacuum decay and chromosome 6 deletion.
Mm-hmm. Hey, false vacuum decay. Is that like when you buy a Dyson and it doesn't work?
Yeah.
That's my wonder.
It's when you buy a vacuum, you get it, you unbox it, you get home, you're like, yeah, I'm gonna clean this dirty as fuck house. And then it doesn't work, and then you just decay into nothing. Because your life is meaningless now. That's exactly what it is.
Well, if your life sucked that much before a vacuum, I don't think it's really gonna matter.
I don't know. Have you ever had the pleasure of just running over the crunchiest of crunchies with a vacuum?
Yeah.
Just that
Yeah, yes. And
crackle.
where is my hamster? Yikes.
We lose
Yikes.
about
I
5
got
hamsters a year with that way.
right.
Gotta get one of those clear vacuums.
The pit lane speed limit is 60
Actually,
kilometers
Gotta
per
turn
hour.
Have
Damn.
one of those. Me?
No, I do.
The pit
I
exit's
think you're
clear.
good. So,
Yeah, no, I'm good.
you guys are getting some fucking really cold weather down there.
Yeah,
Texas.
it is bad. It has not been above 25 degrees today.
Holy
all.
shit, dude.
Which
That's
you don't,
fucking
you don't,
crazy.
Yeah, you don't really like. I mean, you guys are used to cold weather up there and whatnot, but
It's
you don't really think about that here.
right.
But yeah, it's been a crazy day because it was going to be cold and whatnot. And Jaden's supposed to come back tomorrow, which I really doubt's going to happen now.
Right.
Because I'm pretty sure the airport's going to be closed.
Holy shit. I hope your power grid stays on.
That's what's funny is because the news all morning it was like, hey, this is what's going on today. These roads, like these accidents, and well, everybody's question is the power.
Hey, wait. Sound cut out. You there? I hear your game.
That
Yeah.
that whole storm.
Hey, wait. Start
Year,
over again.
about which part?
You cut out for like 5 seconds. I was like, what the fuck? All right. So we're starting the conversation about the power grid.
Oh yeah, it was just the news was wondering if they were going to, is there going to be power outages or issues like that? And they're like, no, you can have confidence. It's going to stay on. And I'm like,
Confidence about what?
doubt about the power grid.
Oh my god. Okay. I'm sure a lot of people had confidence last time.
Yeah. But so I mean, it's just like where I'm at doesn't really matter because we're connected to the
Mexico's power grid.
right? No, too far from Mexico, but no, we have a hospital like right across the street, right across this main road.
Right.
And so anybody that's connected to a hospital power grid really doesn't have to worry about their power because those ones are the ones that they make sure do not go out.
Well,
know,
yeah, of course.
right,
If people dying.
right. But yeah, some news was coming out today that there's like over $3 million owed from citizens on their power bills from when the power had
Dude,
gone out.
yeah, okay, so I saw that the other day. Where
And
people were
yeah,
getting like $1,000 power bills for that power
yep.
outage. What kind of bullshit is that?
I guess that okay, so they did um, like a flex. It's hard to describe. It's almost like a flex pay. Like when we're in Arizona, we were talking about that.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
paid more during the winter, so you technically paid less during the summer
Yeah,
kind of
it
thing because
balances out
summer
your
was higher.
whole.
Yeah, but they had some different sort of usage scale here, and so basically it was I don't know how to describe it. Like the more people, the less you pay, all this other kind of shit
Mhm.
with the usage. And so since everything had gone out and whatnot, everybody got shafted on that since they weren't paying like a regular power bill. So whatever flex pay that they used flexed and flexed hard on them, and
Huh.
they got massive
I
bills.
wonder if the power company's like, well, you're kind of shit out of luck because you opted for this
Basically,
program.
but what's funny about that is the news came out today. It was the ex-power commissioner or power chief,
Yeah.
whatever he was called for here, said that the governor told him that they needed to charge full price for
What a dick.
everything. Oh, he really is. He's a massive ass.
Oh.
Yeah, it was just like, damn, dude. And I was like, uh, now's not the time for bad PR for you, And it's like you should really like look out for these because like 260 people died during all that,
Yeah, I know.
and that's just what we know
It's a
of.
big deal.
Like, we don't know about like homeless or anybody else that. Yeah, it's nuts. So I've been, chilling out in here most of the day, and
Mhm.
there's a fire station right up the street, and there have been sirens back and forth
Dude,
nonstop.
that's nuts, man. So
Yeah,
you in Texas had a colder day than we probably did here.
I bet.
It's probably 30 here today,
Yeah,
which is
yeah, it's
pretty
nuts.
warm for us right now. I'm pretty happy about it getting up into the 30s. It's been too cold for too long.
Yay. Yeah, right. It's just because, well, in the beginning of the month when Jaden was supposed to come home, we got that storm. Where am I
Yeah.
supposed to be going? And just cold as hell and icy, and it is again, but it's been like in the 60s in between those times. And it's like, why? So, just a couple days ago, I went to the store in shorts and a t-shirt.
Dude,
And
I
now
feel
I'm
like if
back
it
in
were
my
that warm here, I'd be hot as fuck. I've been so cold for so long.
right. So you take a warm shower and you're like, but
Dude,
yeah.
you almost have to. I was standing in the bathroom and our toilet's right next to a window, and I was
Oof.
like, it feels like it's windy in here. What the fuck is going on? And I put my hand up to the window. It was like legit wind coming in from outside. I'm like, oh fuck, that's why this bathroom's so cold. So I taped up the window. And now it's magically warm in there. So like when you get out of the shower, you're not freezing instantly.
Oof.
Yeah, because our bathroom is like, well, the house is super old one, and the bathroom's right at the back of the house.
Hold on.
Well, not.
Chris said the sound is out.
For who?
Yeah, he just says sound is out.
Chris, who's the sound out for? Or for anyone. I don't see it on here.
Unless that was from earlier. I don't
Unless
know
it
when
was
that
from earlier.
message came in.
Could have been.
But of course, I have no.
Oh shit. Looking
no
at
sound
chat.
on my laptop.
Fucking it up. You got no sound on your laptop either?
No. Well, I normally don't have it pulled up, so.
Oh.
But I guess we'll see.
It just looks like us talking the whole time, and there's just no
Right.
sound at all. People are like, what the fuck is this?
What's going on with these guys?
Get their shit together.
Oh, yeah, we got sound.
We got sound? Do I got sound?
Okay, we're good. don't think so, because I just did it off my phone.
Well,
My
alright.
laptop's janky.
Well, now that we've already
But
shit on one politician and got the political news started, even though we said we weren't going to.
yeah, well,
How about all this fucking Ukraine shit that's going on right now?
well,
I watched it pretty close
it's
today,
wild.
thinking that I was gonna just see this article on or a headline on CNN saying that we're officially at war with Russia. I was like, kept
Right.
refreshing, waiting to see.
It's all sanctions still,
Super
so
fucked up.
kind of good. I know. It's weird. It's definitely. I thought it was funny. I saw a post and it was like, yeah, um, a summer without COVID restrictions, World War III. Yeah, that's true.
We just gotta have something, something to
Right.
keep everyone scared.
Out of the frying pan and into the fire.
Oh, Biden's numbers are super low. Who can we go to war with? Russia. But
Uh,
they're fucking. Somebody posted online today like a live map of all like the strikes and shit that Russia's done against the Ukraine so far.
yeah,
It's
wasn't it
just
like
like
shelling?
yeah. But
Something
it's
like-
just
yeah.
like a whole line along like the border of
Jeez.
nothing but like shelling and attacks and shit like that.
Oh,
I saw a video the other day of a bunch of tanks in a line driving down the street towards the Ukraine. Towards Ukraine, the Ukraine. I don't fucking know.
I think it's towards. You can't say the. No, well, I don't know.
Makes me think of in Seinfeld when they're on the subway playing Risk. It's George and no, it's Newman and Kramer playing Risk on the subway, and
I don't remember that one.
Newman goes for Kramer's Ukraine, and he's like, "Don't take Ukraine. Ukraine's weak." And there's a Ukrainian dude standing on the subway, and he's like, "What? Ukraine's not weak. You're weak." And he just knocks all of the pieces all over the place. That's like the funniest part of that. When I was a kid, I thought that was so fucking funny.
You're weak. Oh
Ukraine's
man.
weak. You're weak.
What was I thinking? There was something about that too. Oh, I was seeing pictures on Reddit yesterday of people putting up the flight maps, and it was funny because all of that air traffic was over everything but Ukraine.
Yeah, I saw that they like a lot of the bigger. Oh shit, locked up. All of the bigger airlines have blacklisted that whole area,
Yeah,
so like they can't fly there anymore.
yeah. I saw something that it's like airline insurance companies are straight up telling the airlines like, if you fly there, we are not going to cover you.
Yeah. Well, remember
So good.
a couple of years ago, a fucking one of those 747 or 737 got blown up
Yeah,
under mysterious
Yeah, very good.
circumstances in the Ukraine.
mysterious.
It was like right around the same time that Iran bombed one of their own airplanes. So fucking. It was right before a pandemic happened. I think it was like right at the beginning of 2020.
A lot of weird shit. happening.
Hilarious. Fucking sucks for the people that
Crazy.
live there. Like I saw a bunch of Reddit posts about like what it's like to be there just as a normal person, and everyone's like super terrified, shit like
And
that.
I'm going down. Damn.
Oh yeah,
That's
so
not
tell
really-
us about this game you're playing here.
Oh, this one. Oh, I didn't want to retry. It is. I don't want to bash it. It's actually kind of fun, but it's a fun little substitute for what's it?
Like Air Combat?
Ace Combat. Yeah, Ace Combat was a game that I played all the time back in the day.
Oh yeah. Can think of something else.
And I think my favorite one was definitely Ace Combat 6.
Uh,
one was-
I'm only familiar
that
with
one-
like maybe the first two on the original PlayStation.
I want to say 6 came out somewhere around 2010, I want to say.
I know that.
Somewhere around that time.
I don't know if you've seen the newest one. Maybe it's 7. But I watched like a preview for it or a review for it. It looks like watching a real video of fighter jets. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
The
like,
graphics
I
are
don't know, I think-
insane, and it has VR too, so you can like look around.
Oh,
I know. I need to get that VR so bad.
I know. I know. But, So this is it. This ain't bad. This is fun. There's something about it's like in the future. I think it's like 2050 something or whatever. But
This is the way
like I'll
I think most of the Ace Combat games are like in the near future,
yeah.
so not
There
completely
was
present day.
what was I watching? I was watching something last night, and it was like in the dystopian future of 2020, and I was like, if only you knew.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, this is
It
kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy there.
right. It came out in 2009 or something like that. I'm like, man,
If only they knew what president they were
yeah,
gonna have in 7 years from 2009.
just world. Oh, yeah. So, but anyway, I think for now you should go ahead and fill us in on
Oh,
that false vacuum decay.
the false
I
vacuum
was, I
decay.
was thinking that the cold, because I'm not like I remember when you told me about it,
Uh-huh.
I had started to look it up a bit,
Yeah.
and I didn't really get to dive that far into it. But I was like, oh, this is interesting, and then I had like a slight concept for it, but
Yeah, yeah. Okay, I can get into it
uh,
for sure.
it's one of those that I'm pretty sure if I hadn't explained like I'm five, I would get it because I have.
ELI 5. I bet there's an ELI 5 on Reddit about this, but
I
it's
wouldn't doubt it.
it's a little bit of a bummer topic.
It is.
It's gonna bring the audience down a little bit, but whatever. I feel like you've been a little too flying a little too high, so let's bring you down
Right.
just a little bit.
Let's bring it down, Icarus. That's it.
Get a little too close to the sun. But yeah, the false vacuum collapse, right? It is one of the potential end of universe scenarios. So there's the big rip, the big crunch, the big bounce, blah blah blah. The universe is gonna end. This one's a little bit more terrifying, and I'll explain why in just a second. I need to let this dude by. Fucking him up.
You'll
Talking
explain
and
it
racing
as-
at the same.
Right. Right after
Um,
you pull
Alright,
Earnhardt
so
in the
let's
middle
see.
of the wall.
Where do I want to start? We need to start with the universe, right?
Mm.
We got matter, we got energy, everything we see around us. It's a system, a physical system, just like all of the physical constants, all of physics, everything. You can break the universe down into atoms, right? And most people stop there. You can also break those atoms down into things like quarks and bosons and
Right. I've never heard of
gluons
bosons,
and things.
actually.
Bosons, I'm not 100% sure, but they're an elementary particle. You break down atoms, you get those guys, and they do different things. Some have to do with electromagnetism, some have to do with strong, weak nuclear forces and things like that. Well, to break that down even further into fields. And fields,
like magnetic field, or,
kind of. Here, yeah. Then that'll be a very good analogy here in just a second. So fields represent an energy value at any given point in the universe. Every single solitary point in the universe has a field value, and there are lots of different kinds of fields. There's electromagnetic field, which is like what you just said, like magnetism, things like that.
Right.
There's the gravitational fields. Obviously, you feel gravity. It's
On your right.
each one of those values at a specific point is the energy, or maybe the intensity is a better description of the intensity of the energy at that specific point in the universe. All over, permeates everything. This guy's fucking me up. So, there's another field called the Higgs field. In the Higgs field,
this one I've heard of.
Yeah. So, a few years ago, they
Still there.
there was lots of news about this thing called the God particle.
Right.
And how scientists were looking for it.
The Higgs boson.
Yeah. That's exactly what it is. The Higgs boson. Higgs boson has it's a spinless, massless particle, but it operates on the Higgs field.
Right.
And the Higgs field is responsible for giving all of the
Alright,
particles
Andrew,
in the
you've got
universe
half
that
your fuel
have
left.
mass
P3.
their mass.
Very little fuel left in this lap.
So,
Box,
like,
this lap.
quarks and bigger things than that, atoms,
Okay.
everything. Things that have mass are given their mass by the intensities on the Higgs field. Things like photons and stuff like that, they do not have mass, so they don't interact with that.
Got it.
And let's see. So, things in the universe, they want to be at the lowest energy level that they possibly could be. And it's just a natural phenomenon of the known universe.
Right.
Being in an energetic state isn't normal for the universe. The universe is constantly looking for a stasis or a low energy state.
Got it.
You can see this really well in things like firecrackers. Firecrackers, it sits there, right, before it's exploded, and it sits there, it's got a lot of potential energy. Tons of built-up potential energy. You light it on
Right.
fire, it blows up, and it expends all that energy, right? And then now
Okay.
it's at a state of very low energy, and it's at its stasis.
Got it. Okay.
And that explosion, that changing of that transitioning, it's called a phase transition. Lots of things go through phase transitions, like going from liquid to a solid, from water to ice. It's a phase transitioning of what something is, its potential, its energy state. And just like those examples, our field that I was referring to earlier today, they also attempt to operate in a low energy state. And it's not like attempting meaning like they have some sort of cognizance about
Right.
what
It's
state.
just
It's just
energy
how
transfer,
it
whatnot.
works.
Yeah.
It's
How physics work.
it has to do with like sort of thermodynamics and entropy, because the universe is going towards an entropy state, where a state of disorganization where all of the energy has been expelled. So most of the fields,
Watch the track
electromagnetic
limits,
field,
please, Andrew.
nuclear field, things like that, gravitational
Right.
field, they're all, from our calculations so far, from physicists' calculations so far, are all operating at their most likely their lowest energy state. So if you think of a graph, and the graph is basically a big curve with a dip at the bottom, like a bowl or a U shape.
Uh-huh.
Most of the fields in the universe are operating at the bottom of that bowl. They're not going to get any lower. However, the Higgs field, the field that's responsible for giving the universe what makes the universe, for giving mass to everything, for defining physics and chemical characteristics of everything that we know. Most cosmologists think that it is not operating at its lowest state, that it could potentially be in a kind of pseudo-stasis or a local minima. So a local minima is like if you instead of having a U shape, you had like two U's, where one bottom of the U was a little bit higher up than the other bottom, so it was like whoop. So one loop and then down farther for another one. The top one, yeah. The top guy is a local minimum, and which implies that all of the physical characteristics of this universe, all of the mass, everything we know, all of the chemical interactions, everything about the universe itself isn't at an optimal state, and is not at even a is it a state that we recognize now, but if it were at a different state, it wouldn't be recognizable. where the false vacuum decay, and that's called a false vacuum. And
Right.
the word vacuum in this situation, it's not talking about the vacuum space.
Okay.
It's talking about a stasis, a local minimum in a set space, and in this set space is the universe itself.
So you're kind of saying that it's like, hey, this is what we perceive as normal, but guess what? It's actually not
Yeah,
what the real normal is.
sure, it is the real normal right now.
Right.
However, it isn't the potential normal. It's not, if this is true. If the false vacuum, if we are indeed in a false vacuum, and it's false
Right.
because it's not a true minimum. It's a false minimum. If it's not, then what we know has the potential to cease to exist, and I'll get into that as well.
Okay.
So this is okay right now, and it has been okay for 13 billion years.
Mm-hmm.
However, we're starting to learn a lot more about quantum mechanics. So
Right.
so the physics of things that are really small, uh, and we're starting to learn that quantum particles operate very weirdly, and they can do things that are kind of unintuitive.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them is called quantum tunneling. Quantum tunneling is a fluctuation in the energy state of a for this case, the energy state of the field, of a specific point in a field, from
Okay.
in which instigates a phase transition. So transition from one complete state to another. That's called a collapse. And there are lots of different kinds of collapse. There's wave function collapses. Like we actually the Media Hijacked kind of touched on that a couple
Mm-hmm.
episodes ago. Um, they were talking about something in quantum theory, and I had pointed it out in chat. But uh, wave function collapse is a good example where if you look at an experiment, you're
Mm-hmm.
immediately become part of the experiment, and
Ah.
all of the possible outcomes in quantum mechanics collapse to one specific outcome. Because if you're not looking at it, technically, any possible outcome could be true. Schrodinger's
Oh, is
cat.
that
That is a
the observation?
yep.
Observation. What is it called? Observation theory or something like
hmm
that. And it was
It,
basically where they were shining light through three different like
oh,
slots.
the grills. Yeah. Well, that's
Yeah.
actually the fact that photons are they exhibit properties of waves and particles at the same time.
Right.
Wave function collapse is more of Schrodinger's cat. Schrodinger's cat's
Well, okay.
inside that box. It's either dead or alive until you look at it, and when you do look at it, it's one or the other. The
Okay.
wave function has collapsed to one value. Now,
Okay.
uh, the Higgs field, or any field for that matter, but the Higgs field is the one that we're most worried about,
The leader has just
could
done
collapse as well
28.3 seconds.
through quantum tunneling. So we got the graph again, the double-U'd graph, right?
Right.
You have
So where? Hold on.
you have
I have an idea of
I
what
can
you're.
draw
Okay.
it down, I guess. I gotta go into the
Well,
bits anyways. It's fine.
I've already got it. So it
You
would
got a
be
U that's a little higher, and then a U that's farther down next to it. Both
But-
connected,
What's your
obviously.
speed?
kind of like almost like this kind of a step like that, right? It's not really
Uh-huh.
just U's.
Well,
But
no,
okay.
it's U's for sure.
Oh, okay.
You have to be in a local minima, so it has to be a little bit of a U. But exactly that. Now,
Well, that was just a rough sketch, Andrew. Okay, I'm not applying for art school here.
I need you to do better, especially when I'm
You need to
explaining
try
this
better.
shit.
Alright,
So
fine.
we could have a field value on that Higgs field that's in one of those local minima,
Uh-huh.
and it can do this thing called quantum tunneling, where it completely changes its state, its energy state. But it can tunnel through the hump that leads to the second dip all the
Okay.
way through, and once it reaches through that hump to the other dip, it collapses all the way down into the global maximum, releasing tons of energy, just
Right.
obscene amounts of energy. And at that point, the all of the characteristics, all of the physics, all of the chemistry associated with that point in space is
Mhm.
completely different. Uh,
So basically, everything as we know it is kind
is
of like flip-flopped at this
well,
point and
specific, yes,
changes
specifically
value.
for that point that had that phase transition,
Uh-huh.
completely different.
Okay.
Um, yeah, unrecognizably different. Everything is completely different. It might even cease to exist itself. We don't know. However, once that guy falls into the global maxima, he pulls
Mhm.
everyone in around him like a chain reaction.
Oh, okay, cute.
Yeah.
That's cute.
Uh, and so you have this growing circle of collapsing Higgs field that is
Mhm.
traveling at the speed of light and um, just you essentially have this bubble moving through space where what's
Mhm.
inside the bubble is essentially a different universe or not even a universe or just nothing. We don't know, but it's a Higgs field at a completely different state. It's moving at the
Okay.
speed of light. It's since it's moving at the speed of light, when you'd never see it coming. It would just be instantaneous. And
Right.
that's the
So if we
terrifying
if
thing about the false vacuum decay. It can happen anytime, anywhere in the universe. And um,
so it's
if
basically if this false vacuum, let's call it collapsed, right?
hmm?
Since it's speed of light, we could be sitting here talking and then 1 second later
I mean, yeah,
not even exist.
completely not exist or
Okay.
physics breakdown, whatever. This is like all the crazy thing is the end of the universe scenarios that we most commonly think about. Um, the big crunch, the big squeeze, whatever. They're all billions and trillions of years in the future.
Right.
This could happen at any time, and the thing is, if if in fact the universe is the Higgs field is in a false vacuum state,
Mm-hmm.
then the probability of a false vacuum collapse is non-zero, meaning that over a long enough period of time, it will happen. It's just from probability.
I definitely did not need to sleep tonight. I guess that's cool,
It's
right?
fucking
It's
crazy to
like,
think about. Like, it could
yeah,
just happen, and you wouldn't be aware. Um, and I don't know. My question, I kind of have some lingering questions on that one. Like, and I haven't seen any literature on it. Is like, sure, if there's a giant difference between the local minima and the global minima, we'd all
mhm.
die, everything would be different, blah blah blah. But what if the transition is just very slight? You know, I don't know how that would affect it. Like if we went from one false vacuum to a real vacuum, but they were just slightly different, would everything
Right.
still stay kind of the same but a little different?
So let's say like it
Like would it
barely
not
affected
kill
us, and
us?
then
But
maybe gravity is like 1/100,000th less of its normal force. Like very
yeah, I don't know.
barely noticeable.
That's a good
But
question. I
like
don't.
yeah. So it's like would we have the instrumentation to notice if that did happen,
I mean,
or
I
would it
don't
all just
know.
be dead and we
No,
wouldn't
because
know?
like if the entire universe changed on a fundamental level,
Right.
where like something changed slightly, would you even be able to know? Not just would you even notice, but because if the entire universe changes, your brain also changes.
That's true.
So like, would you even be? Would realistically, would there be a difference? Because everything changed all at one time, you wouldn't you wouldn't be able to know because your brain also changed too.
All right.
It's
And see,
fucking
that's what I'm wondering too. So it's like, what if we did? But I'm trying to wrap my brain around that. So it's like, if we did have the instrumentation to, say, record that something did change, right? Would
right.
that change affect let's say we had these certain settings on there saying, hey, this is the normal, but it reads a different way if something shifted, would
I don't
that actually
know.
be
Maybe.
affected? You know what I mean?
Wouldn't
Like
that be crazy? You
that's
just
a
would
fun
just set up
hypothetical.
something like that and then just set it
Right.
there forever to see if something does actually change. I mean, we could. There are so many different facets of the universe. It'd be hard to measure every single thing.
Right.
But I mean, we know obviously how strong gravity is on Earth. Um, oh, that's a good question.
Yeah,
That shit
that's a lot of fun.
is fucking crazy. So yeah, that's the false vacuum decay. It's the potential end of the universe that could happen at any second. You wouldn't even know it's coming.
Right. I think what was it? I think the other one that messed with my head because it like how it could be instantaneous. I think that was the big rip that was like that too, right? No.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
well, kind of.
kind of like
That's a
the
different
ones that
topic.
happen towards the end of the universe,
Uh,
they like those ones we can see coming. Um, like, cause it all really depends on the shape of the universe. Which, I mean, we can get into this the end of the universe kind of stuff in a different episode.
yeah. So,
Cause I find that shit so fucking interesting.
oh yeah.
Um, this would happen instantaneously. Probably the big crunch would. I don't know. The rip would too. Yeah, the rip would have to happen
Yeah,
instantaneously
because
too.
the way when I had been reading it, and like granted that was a little while ago, and I'd have to brush back up on it, but when I was reading about the big rip, it seemed like it would just be like, well, that's all,
The whole
folks. You
idea of
know
the
what I
big
mean?
rip
It's like,
though is that we'd be so fast that
mhm.
space-time itself rips. Like the space-time itself rips. So like every it's like it's hard to put that kind of stuff into words that reality
Yeah,
breaks, because then you're like, well, what's outside reality that it breaks? But there's nothing. It's just it's a self-contained system. It just
right.
breaks. Um,
I think the only people who could tell us anything like that are the people who use like hallucinogenics.
I
Like,
know.
man, I was
Sometimes this shit,
there.
dude. Sometimes
Right,
this stuff makes you think, like, makes you feel like, this is really what's gonna happen to you.
right.
Uh, Noelle's been asking me a lot of like questions like that too. So I got her a
Oof,
book the other day, by Neil deGrasse Tyson,
nice.
and it is a book about um astrophysics for kids. It's
Oh,
pretty
that's
cool.
sweet.
Yeah, it's really cool. So I think the first episode talks about like the idea that there are extraterrestrial beings, and I think some of it talks about the Big Bang, stuff like that. I think it's pretty fucking.
That's pretty cool. That was kind of like when I went to the Perot Museum here,
Yeah,
and you go in and like we took Boog and the cousins, like my cousin went and stuff, and
right.
there's some stuff that, woof, the other family members that don't believe in evolution, that was fun.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, but so it's like you go in, you go up to the fourth floor, and automatically there's this huge display of like how the sun acts and
Like a
different.
planetarium kind of thing.
Yeah, kind of, but it's all, it's like all these different screens. It's not that huge. I mean, it's showing like distance between stars, stuff like that, and then all these different like color values and stuff.
That's cool.
Where you can, shift these lenses and um, I mean, it had everything all the way up to like STEM type stuff, and the kids were loving it. I was like, yeah, like this is awesome, and it was all like a philanthropy thing from the Perot
Yeah,
family.
Ross Perot.
Yeah,
Like a
so
great
like
fuck.
I don't know. Well, I think he was still alive when that was made, but I know
Eventually.
his family still does stuff in his name. So I'm
Oh
like,
yeah.
that's
Well,
good.
yeah.
But
That's how they get
yeah, it
those
was
tax
definitely like
breaks.
right. I was like, yeah, that's really cool. At least you're getting the kids interested in science and stuff. And like, yeah, I was like a kid in a candy store in there. I was like, what? What's
That's really
this?
cool. I haven't been
What's
to the
this?
science museum in so long. I took Noelle like
Oh, I know.
4 years ago or so to the Phoenix Science Museum, and it's pretty cool.
Dude, I love that one. We went there on field trips like a few times throughout um, my school age. Because I mean, everything there was to do was to go to Phoenix and see these things. But um, Yeah, that place was so awesome. I wanted to take Bug to it, but he wasn't really old enough to like grasp anything yet.
They got a lot of
You know?
pretty cool little kid stuff. They do this. There's like outside they have a water playground thing where you can put like you get little ping pong ball kind of things and you put them in these water contraptions and the ball moves around and goes up a
Oh, that's cool.
ladder and all sorts of shit. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I would have loved to take him there, but he at least, yeah, he was 4.5 at the time that we went here, so he at least, I wouldn't say he had an idea of everything, but he was like definitely entertained and like interactive with everything.
That's cool.
So, yeah, that's good. I'll probably take him to more stuff like that. I remember there was another one. I don't think it was Perot Museum. I can't remember what it was, but it was when I used to come out here uh, to stay for the summer.
Yeah.
And I remember there was this IMAX theater. It actually might, you know what, it might have been the same place. But anyway, I remember the IMAX theater, and they had this shot from a helicopter flying over Dallas, right? And you're like watching it on that huge IMAX screen. And you're like, "Whoa, this is so cool!" But then the camera does that real like crazy pan down thing,
Right.
and you feel like you're gonna fall, even though you're sitting in the theater.
Oh wow.
And it was just like, holy shit, it was so intense, because it's playing with your senses at that point because of the scale of the screen. And I remember, I sound so bad for laughing. This kid, mind you, we're like 9 and 10 years old, okay? But this kid lost his ever-loving shit and started crying so hard. And he was like, what? He was so freaked out because he thought he was going to fall out of his chair and like basically into the screen. I was like, oh, okay. But it did freak everybody out. Sometimes.
Yeah. Your sound cut off for like 2 seconds.
I was gonna say we have a horrible connection tonight, and I'm betting you anything it's because of this weather.
Oh, probably. It's all good.
Every time we have a crystal clear connection every night, except for when there's bad weather.
I think your feed's been pretty good though.
Yeah,
What I can tell. Hair's
yeah,
looking fucking crazy.
as usual.
I thought
I haven't put
so
I haven't put
your
any conditioner in it, so
your screen, your uh camera feed is backwards. I thought your text is behind you, it was upside down. I
really,
realized it was backwards. It's like,
that's weird that it's backwards. I wonder why it's
Pit lane
backwards.
speed
oh,
limit
because
is
your
72
camera is
kilometers
back.
per hour.
So I don't fucking know.
There's
You
traffic
make
behind.
no
Watch your
sense.
mirrors.
But anyway, all right.
Let me hear about this
I was gonna say, I'm gonna
Trisomony
try and do
21 or
this
some shit.
while I'm dogfighting. This ought to be fun. But all right. So
Get better at this. Don't worry, audience.
now I should have played in, and if I die again, I will
Leader
go
has
into that
just done
different
a
mode. But
111.0.
so Chromosome 6 deletion.
Yeah.
It
Sounds
so
scary, is what it sounds.
it is okay. So what it is, it's kind of another. I'm trying to put it into words to where it doesn't sound like I'm being like ignorant or but it's say like Down syndrome. You have a mutation, right?
Right.
With Down syndrome, it is, and I'm going to describe it to the best of my ability,
Okay.
is during meiosis, there's like I remember a third copy of the 21st chromosome on that one.
Okay.
Which causes where you see the different facial features,
Yeah,
stuff like that.
I get that. I get what you're saying.
Right. So that is, like I've said, from the best of my understanding, from what I remember, Down syndrome is an extra chromosome, right? So this one, and
I think it's like, isn't it? I think it's an extra. I think it's an extra leg on a chromosome.
basically like an
Or
extra allele or something like that. But it
yeah.
is a third copy where there's supposed to only be two, right?
Interesting.
And so with this, there's an absolute deletion of that said chromosome that's supposed to be there, right? And so basically what I was reading with it is that you'll see some of these normal things that'll happen when our chromosomes get messed with.
Sure.
So
Okay.
Um,
Like I know a big one is sterility.
see that one, I didn't see anything about sterility when it was listing some of the things that can happen,
Uh,
but I wouldn't doubt that that could be in there because it was saying that certain things with mental capacity is definitely impacted. So
sure.
with this deletion though, not everybody shows the same
This
symptoms,
is go.
right? So that's why they have a hard time really dealing with this one at the same time. It's because there's no baseline, really, in a way. So it's like,
That's pretty fucked. Okay.
so was that.
So,
So, okay, so there's no baseline for them to really tell, okay, well, you're missing this sixth chromosome because you have XYZ feature. So this one person could have, let's say, um, a mental handicap,
sure.
where maybe they don't have the same retention as you and I do, or this or that. And then there's also physical. So there's a girl that I'm going to bring up. I think I wrote her name down yesterday. Um, she's the extreme example that keeps coming up. But
Hmm.
so you'll see physical trait differences. Like it almost looks like she has Down syndrome, right? So with that, it does kind of give physical. So it could be very very minimum or very drastic. They don't know
Huh.
how hard somebody's going to get hit by it. So and then also it can affect um, development skills, like
I
I said.
wonder
So
why it's so
milestones.
why there's such a big gambit of how it manifests. I guess the phenotype of the child.
And like that's some stuff that just as we're talking about astrophysics
Hmm.
and different basically different levels of understanding or scientific ability that we have to hit, I think is the same thing that comes into play with this. It's not like you can pull the Star Trek tricorder and you're like, oh yeah, well this is what's wrong, kind of thing,
Right. I get that for sure.
um so uh basically I can't buy anything, that sucks. So it's a different range of things, affects every person differently. Um, but let me see, because I had to write it down because it is kind of, it says chromosome 6 ring is what the official name is a rare disorder in which there is a loss or deletion of chromosomal material from both ends of the sixth chromosome and joining
Uh,
of the ends to form a ring. So it
no
screws
way.
everything up.
Holy
Yeah.
shit. So
So
instead of
it's
XYs, you have a O.
uh, yep.
Wow.
And dude, and like there was one of the videos I was watching, it was insane because they were getting down into it, and it was like the differences between us and like chickens have like 52.
Yeah, I do
They
know that
don't
like
have XY.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
just
we
like
don't
it's
we're
insane.
not everybody has the same,
Yeah,
46, 23,
you're right.
two pairs of 23.
Well,
Not
no, they
everybody
were
has that. Or not
like they
every
don't have
animal does.
XY. They have ZZ.
Oh,
And it's like like that was I've never dove that far into that part of genetics. So I was like,
I
oh, this is
haven't
pretty
either. That's
interesting. But I was
interesting.
like, yeah, I was like, stay on task because there's plenty of videos on YouTube about it. I'll just let you know.
That's funny.
But and then like even some of the stuff that I was pulling up online was just like medical journal, so it wasn't like some random dude,
Yeah, like
thankfully.
Google
But
Scholar stuff.
yeah, and so it's going over all this stuff, and so at first it's just another one of your normal disorders in a way, right?
Yeah.
So, but there's this girl, and her name is Olivia Farnsworth, and she's from England, right?
Yeah.
And she is called the Bionic Girl. Now, I don't know how old she is now, um, but I think she was around 9 when these
Sure.
things took place. And so they figured out that she had all these extreme symptoms of six deletion because when she was a baby, uh, she was just like the most calm thing, right? Not fussing all the time, um, just
Like
super chill.
less than a baby should, you know?
Like, yeah. And then so I guess her mom, and it wasn't enough to worry about it, up until she started napping, or stopped napping at like it was a couple months, I want to say.
Right.
And like, it's just like, yeah, okay, if you're not napping at all when you're a couple months old, like something's
Yeah,
up.
you gotta nap till like till you're like
Yeah,
5, you know?
right.
I'm
That's like,
34 and I'm still napping.
right. I'm trying. Sometimes that ADD doesn't let me sleep, but
Look at that.
like it was like even Boog stopped napping at 3.5, so like around a
I get that.
you know, normal age.
Yeah.
Whatever, not unheard of. But she's not crying to show that she needs to be fed either, at all. And so they're kind of like, okay, what's up with this? And then they started figuring out that something was up. And so it goes on, and they
Still
didn't. Yeah. And no crying during feeding either. So it was just like, hey, your teeth are pushing in, but you're not
Okay.
crying, so why?
Interesting.
Yeah. So they figured out that she's not feeling pain.
Oh,
And it's kind of like, okay, where do
so
we
there's
go
there's
from
like no
here?
pain response, I guess. No
Yeah,
trigger to
basically.
cry. Okay.
Yep.
Holy
So
shit,
she's
that's
not crying
terrifying.
because she's hungry. Oh shit. She's not crying because she's hungry. She's not crying because of this.
Those are like basic life.
Yeah.
Those are
And
like inherited human traits.
and it's things that we need to survive, as a baby, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So, it goes on. It was also something with the immune system, and that actually, that chromosome plays a big part in our immune system development. So that's why it kind of like
Oh,
started giving some worries for her
yeah.
too.
I was gonna ask what you knew what that chromosome was responsible for.
So that was part of it, was like immune system development, but that's what was weird, is because those three different things, those three main things for her. So she's the most extreme case so far, but it's like, what is there going to be in the future or whatever? Like, will there be another kid that has this deletion?
And so they essentially don't know how it will manifest. Like there's no
No,
baseline, I guess.
no. It's just like, it's just like once at a certain point of pregnancy, they start doing Down syndrome tests,
Sure. Yeah.
because you don't know up until a certain point. It's like there's not always going to be something that tells you, it's like at 6 weeks, you're like, oh, it has Down syndrome, or it has this, that or the other going on. Everything's gonna, it's gonna be different for every person. So she, I think it was when she was 6. She was 6 years old, and she's playing out front, like everybody's out front kind of thing.
Yeah.
And she got hit by a car. And
Okay.
yeah,
Holy shit.
just hit by a car, drugged quite a few feet down the road.
Yeah, yeah.
Kind of fucked her
Not
foot
crying.
up, right? Kind of fucked her foot up, took skin off the toe.
Uh-huh.
She had tire tracks across her chest. What else? She's just pretty road rashed and this and that. And everybody on the sidewalk's like freaking out. They're like, what the hell? Like, just happened, this and that. And then she just gets up.
I'm
And
okay,
it's like,
everybody.
right? She's just looking around, and she's like, okay, so why is everybody freaking out?
She's
And
like
we're
the dude, the guy from Austin Powers that gets Will Ferrell in Austin Powers that gets hit by the car. Remember that?
I don't remember
He's
that.
like, I'm gonna try to stand up, and he breaks both his legs.
Well, what I was thinking of was there was it was one of the Bond movies, actually. It was a Pierce Brosnan one, and keeps
Die
freezing.
tomorrow.
I guess our stream keeps freezing. I guess that's what Chris said.
Really?
So I think we have connectivity issues.
Oh
But
man.
let's just keep trying to go. I don't
Dude,
think
this
there's
is
much we can do.
This is a good one too. That
Right.
sucks. All right.
So hopefully it's recording well enough that we can just post it. But so there was a Bond one, and it was a Pierce Brosnan one. World is Not Enough, maybe.
Yeah.
And
Die
that
Another
dude
Day.
got that might be it. where the bad guy the bad guy got shot in the head at one point, so he couldn't feel pain anymore.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was
and
that
so
was like that wasn't even Die Another Day. That was like the one that happened after Goldeneye. Maybe it was Die Another. No, the world
it was no, no,
Tomorrow
it
Never
was
Dies or whatever.
that's it. There you go. Whatever.
Yeah,
Take
okay,
your pick.
Knife
We're
Fire
done.
maybe. I don't fucking remember. There's so
Alright.
many fucking James
So
Bond.
yeah, so she just gets up and she's like, oh, like, why is everybody, blah blah blah, and they're like, are you okay? Like, we're taking you to the hospital. And basically, the doctor said that the only reason she survived getting hit by a car like that was because she didn't tense up. And they said what saved her life was because of that disorder. Um, she had never felt pain before in her life,
She's like a
so she
drunk
didn't.
person.
Yeah, basically, that's what I thought of. Is like, how like they always say that drunk drivers survive a crash because they don't tense up. They're not,
Or
whatever.
drunk people and
Get my
babies.
missile. Yeah. So since she wasn't anticipating it, she didn't, tense up and, die by getting hit by a car and drugged. So she
Shit.
healed from all that. And there was one point that she had bit through her lip. And I wish I had saved the picture and I could have put it up. But it was gnarly. She bit through it so fucking bad. She needed plastic surgery to repair it.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was just this huge, gash on the front of her face. And, whatever. She doesn't feel it, so.
The thing is like, you think to yourself, oh, it must be nice to go through life with no pain reception, right? Because pain
Oh,
sucks. But you
yeah.
rely on that so much for yeah,
infection,
but just for like things that
you
maybe
burn
aren't.
yourself on the stove.
Yeah, or like like, so I heard that it's kind of tangential, but still on track, is when you're setting your foot down to walk, your brain
Mhm.
is like is listening to the pain receptors in the bottom of your feet like millions of times a second as you
Right.
step. So like you don't step on something. Like in the moment you feel something pointy, you just come off of it
Ooh,
because you
yeah.
don't want to, evolutionarily you can't lose your foot.
Yeah.
So like if you don't have that, you're just stepping on Lego blocks all fucking day.
Which, woof,
Nobody,
the worst
no.
pain.
And then all of a
Lego
sudden
blocks are worse than childbirth.
you
There,
get
I
eaten by a
said it.
lion because you stepped on too many fucking
Right.
Lego blocks. I don't know.
Somebody's gonna get so mad.
Evolution's a weird thing.
Right. It was a good movie though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay. So and then there were like the funny little personal stories where like, oh, she doesn't feel hunger, so she never really feels the need to eat. I guess there was a point that I guess for a month she only ate caution donuts. What? She only ate butter
what?
sandwiches.
Sounds
Butter
like
sandwiches.
butter
No, it's
sandwiches?
something- Yeah.
That's just
Well,
bread and
British.
butter.
Yeah.
Call it a butter
British.
sandwich.
Yeah. Okay. To be fair, they have a toast sandwich over there where they toast a piece of bread
Hey, I saw
and
that
they put it between. Yeah, they put it between two pieces
on
of
Reddit
bread.
like a long time ago.
Yeah, and it's a toast sandwich.
British people want to sandwich anything.
Right. They think that they're so much better with their sandwiches because they have the Earl of sandwich.
Because sandwiches
that's
can
why-
be eaten at high tea.
No, that's true.
It's finger food. What if they did a tea sandwich? Everybody in Britain's heads would just fucking explode
That's
collectively.
it.
We're done here.
Yeah. God save the Queen.
Oh, speaking of,
She got COVID.
yeah, man, and I was like, there were rumors that she died yesterday.
Yeah, I saw that. But,
Shit.
and so it was like I had checked the news and everything. I'm like, they're not going to be able to suppress that for long, and it's not like she's a
No
big
way.
lawmaker or anything, or she's not, like they would announce that. There'd be no reason to hide that kind of thing.
I just
I
want
don't
her to
think.
keep going. I want to see how long will she
Seriously.
get. Come on.
Okay. So, for a month, and I got shot down. Damn it. So, and my call sign is Monarch. Go figure. But so for a month she ate butter sandwiches, whatever. So in a way, like I guess had to force her to eat and whatnot. So, and then there's the sleep issue, right? So she now has to take sleeping pills, let's say around bedtime. Like, oh, hey, it's time for bed. Here's some pills because your body has no natural want for sleep at that point. So, and that's how she goes to bed. But
I mean, you
the
may not
crazy
have a
thing,
natural want for sleep, but your body needs it.
that's what I was thinking is there's got to be some points that she's just going and going and then just drops. You know what
Well,
I
if
mean?
her muscles have no more energy in them, yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. And so, it's just nuts. But then my brain always goes for the worst, as we know. Like, I'm that type of person. So, we have technology all, through CRISPR and whatnot.
Oh,
Right?
dude, yes. Okay, I'm so glad you brought this up because this is a talking point that I was going to bring up.
There you
Perfect.
go. So, it is insane to me that this happens naturally, right? Like it's such a
Well,
nuts
genetic
thought
mutations definitely happen
to
billions of
to
times a second.
think
Oh,
that, like, let's say with her case of it, it's a 1 in a million shot, right?
yeah.
Of getting all those types of symptoms. That's what it's called, symptoms
Mhm.
of, blah, blah, blah. But here's where I see it getting kind of fucked up is somebody someday is going to get the brilliant idea to go, huh, soldiers that don't feel pain, hunger, or the need to sleep, right?
Your
And so
brain went
then,
to a completely different spot than mine did on this.
right? But
Shit.
here's where it gets even crazier because I was thinking about it, and especially when you're thinking about where it said that she got hit by the car, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You would have to basically pull something out of The Boys, where you breed these babies to
Yeah,
be that way.
yeah, yeah.
Because
Super soldiers.
if you felt pain before, you're going to tense up or whatever that they're trying to
Yeah, if you're
avoid.
expecting it.
Exactly. So if they're trying to have you avoid that, you are going to have to be born that way, so you never
I was
feel
born this way.
pain. Yeah. All right, Gaga. You know what I mean? Like, take down a couple rah rahs there.
Rah, rah, rah,
So,
rah,
yeah.
rah.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. I'm like, they're gonna, wind up making these regiments of or super soldiers, or what's to say somebody hasn't already tried and failed, kind of thing, and we just don't know about it. Or it's like, man, like what an insane concept. And then now we have all this like, you know, gene editing technology and whatnot that it could absolutely be true. And like, if you think about it,
Yeah,
morally, like, woof,
dude,
that is not good.
the whole the idea of CRISPR was like founded on just good scientific rigor, right? The pursuit of knowledge.
Right.
The first implementation of CRISPR, like the first successful gene editing, was done by this dude in China that did it without any government oversight, did it without anyone telling him that he could do it. You know, he did it just all on his own. And then he went to like a gene therapy conference, like a worldwide one, and presented his findings, which they were good. You know, he
Right.
successfully edited the genes of 2 children. Um, and they were like, "What the fuck?" You know, he did it without like the scientific method. He did it without like a shit ton of stuff.
Oh.
It was
Oh, I
highly
didn't hear all
unethical.
that.
Uh,
Okay.
dude, so crazy. And he was
That's
like
insane.
ostracized and all sorts of stuff. I don't know.
Man.
This happened maybe 5, 7, maybe 5 years ago.
Huh.
But
I did not know that.
CRISPR is definitely still being actively researched, and you better
Which,
believe
yeah,
that the United
is one
States
thing.
government is thinking about it.
Oh, absolutely,
You
man.
think about
Like,
that a little bit.
okay, and you know what? I don't even want to say just us. Like, we're
No, it's not just
nefarious.
us for sure, but
You know what I
China
mean? Like,
probably,
we're nefarious, but we're not that exactly, dude. To
Russia.
think that Exactly. China and Russia are two of the biggest. I mean, North Korea, he's batshit enough,
I don't know.
and it's just
Yeah,
like,
he's batshit enough, but I think with CRISPR you need a lot of money, and
yeah, it's
that
got to be a
country's
government.
as fuck.
Well, yeah, but you know him, he's the type that, hey, I don't care that these people are fucking starving. I'm gonna do whatever.
Whatever,
You know,
whatever, whatever,
that's
whatever. I do what I want.
I do what I want. I'm an
It
authoritarian.
says.
Mm-hmm. So it's just insane to me. Like, I mean, because like CRISPR and whatnot, this type of research and technologies can be really good, but as we all know, there's always somebody,
Well,
it's going to fall into the wrong
yeah,
hands at some point.
the whole idea behind it is that solve the world's issues.
Right?
Maybe we can cure Alzheimer's with gene therapy, or maybe we can cure cancer, or
Right.
maybe we can. Uh, I don't know about genetically modifying from conception,
Right. And see,
how
that's
ethical that
where,
is. But I mean,
yeah.
fine if you don't. If like I can be the devil's advocate and say, well, let's make kids that are conceived without the possibility of having Alzheimer's,
Right. It's like,
or
okay, yeah.
congenital cancer. I obviously get cancer environmentally, um, but
Or it's like what I was saying earlier about, like, oh, they couldn't detect it. So like, let's say if you detected something and you can here they come. Um,
I hear them coming.
you can right, click, 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 click.
Hey,
You
what's
can
going on
change
in
this
here?
child's life. Hey, hey, let me get in your face. I want to be on TV. Like you can uh, keep kids from having these really bad defects. Life, like there's still like blurred lines of morality in there too. But ah, but at the same time, like that technology can really expand our understanding of ourselves and our
Yeah, and like
universe and stuff like that.
think about like CRISPR combined with like advances in AI. Eventually, when we do, unlock the secrets of true general AI,
You
you
mean
know,
like how we create Rocco's Basilisk?
yeah,
Did I
be
just
able
say that out loud and screw everybody up?
we'll be able to literally manufacture people, perfect people.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That would turn into what's that called? Westworld.
True. I
Yeah.
think some people will pine for the days of when people were naturally conceived and born and had natural defects and all sorts of stuff.
Well, if you've seen the Kardashians and Nicki Minaj and Cardi B, people are already wishing we were going back to those days.
I know.
Oh, it's like, oh baby, you're all natural. Oh, you're rare. They don't make them like you no more, right? Like,
I
yeah, no, somewhere I was gonna go with that too, and then I got into making fun of
think
the
we got
Kardashians.
off. We got off. Okay,
Well, I
yeah.
was off in
Let's
the
go
tangent,
back.
but that was
Let's go
oh,
back to
CRISPR.
this girl
You
on
were well, that was
with
pretty much about
gene
it.
deletion.
It's just, and I
Well,
think that
one question I had, I don't know
somewhere
if
down the road,
uh,
oh,
is
uh,
is it is there anything they can do for it, or is it completely untreatable?
pretty much completely untreatable. I mean, like that's kind of where we're
What's this
into.
one for? Tom
It's like there's no
2.6.
way to treat or cure Down syndrome. It's just,
Without just yeah, you just have to,
yeah, it's the hand you're dealt, and you live a pretty normal life after that. You know what I mean? It's
is
just
this
you are.
girl older or is she younger?
I think that now, if because I didn't really um, look into her as much as
Or,
I was trying just the disorder, but I think she's about 10 or 11 now,
oh wow, okay.
possibly. So she's
I
still
was
young.
picturing like adult. Okay.
No,
And is
no,
she
she's
the
still
only
a young
one
girl.
with that they know that has this, or are there other people that they know
Uh,
have this?
well, now there's other people that have it, but like I was saying, it's kind of hard to tell in ways because I'm,
Shh.
man, I'm getting my shit rocked. Uh, I guess unless they were doing like testing for Down syndrome, you could almost just assume because of looks. Like I was saying, she looks like she has very mild Down syndrome because it
Everything's
is
clear.
the
Don't cross
genetic
a white line.
mutation, or
Yeah, the facial
you know what I mean?
features.
Yeah, slightly. And I mean, it's ever so slight. Like if you were to ever meet her, you'd kind of be like, okay, maybe. Um,
Wow.
so, uh, but like it was saying, it's since it's so different for everybody, you know, it's kind of hard to really pinpoint it at times.
The track
But
temperature's decreasing.
you know,
It's now
so
38
the
degrees
reason that like
Celsius.
she keeps coming up is because she is the most extreme case with those symptoms where she feels no pain, this, that, and the other. So like, you know, that's exactly why my brain went there, and I'm like, man, I've seen this in a bad guy movie before, but it was for
You
a
don't like
different
all the
reason.
sense.
I don't know.
You gotta
Been there,
hide
done
this little
that.
girl.
It's
Don't talk about her.
like Back to the Future. Hey, I've seen that one before. What are you
This is
talking about? This is
brand
brand
new.
new.
It came
Exactly.
out today.
So it's just like, man, in this world of like advanced warfare and Warcraft, it's like it's what I always think of, especially with look at where we're at technologically, what we're doing right this moment, to where you know we're communicating across the country and
Yeah.
to other people around the world. And just 40 years ago, that was absolute science fiction.
Well, hopefully we get to a point where uh, it's not humans that are fighting wars and shit like that. It's fucking
Right?
robots and stuff.
Just robots.
So we don't have to worry
But
about super soldiers, but who knows?
yeah, and so it's like, um, you know, it's like that's the whole thing. Is just like they say art imitates life, but in a lot of these cases with technology and whatnot, it's um, life imitates art
Oh,
because
absolutely.
you know it's like, hey, I really liked this handheld uh, communication device on Star Trek. So guess what? I'm gonna try and make it in real life, and boom, guess what? Cell phones.
Yeah, we have cell phones. Yeah.
You know, and it's like a lot of these things happen because you know it's like maybe they wouldn't have had that idea in the first place or whatnot, but you know now they do. And, so like that's I always try to think of multiple sides. It's kind of like okay, what's the good that we're going to get out of it, and what is just that unnecessary evil that we're not going to face.
Yeah, I
You know,
mean,
and I
realistically, everything. It's just new, like Newton's law. Every action is equal opposite reaction.
right,
Same thing with with sociological space. You know,
yeah,
every good thing that we come up with or that we do, someone's going to use it for, bad, various purposes.
yeah, especially like you know with like Newton's law, it's like that kind of stuff with that can keep you up at night. But damn it, I got shot down again. His fig candies are really good though. Those fig Newtons, I
I
really
think
like
that
those.
I think that's what he's more famous for.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
definitely the fig Newtons.
yeah. My grandmother loved those. So
I will still slam an entire thing of those.
see, I'm partial to the blueberry
Fastest lap
Newtons.
for Fernandez. 150.
I haven't
Fig
had
Newtons are
those
pretty
before.
good, but the blueberry ones are where it's at. I think they make a raspberry one too.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
really branched out. Isaac Newton really branched out like in the 90s. He had a couple flavors. Kind of
Right.
like what's his name? Paul Newman.
With
Newman's
what?
Own. Paul Newman with
Oh,
Newman's
Newman.
Own.
Right. Newman's Own. I wonder if they're still like
It's
they're still 100% like nonprofit, right?
Paul.
Like mainly given.
All right, so they're not. I mean, they're non-profit, same way that the NFL is non-profit or Susan G. Komen's non-profit.
Right,
But
but
they're still taking a lot of fucking money. They could be like, you could say you're
yeah,
non-profit and take 80% of proceeds for yourself
yeah.
and
But I'm
give
saying like
20% away, and you're still a
I
non-profit.
said because I know that they at least while he was, you know, Bill Newman, were giving a lot away. I
Oh,
think like they were
oh
doing a
shit.
lot,
Possibly.
but
I
I
want to
don't
say I
know
read something
anymore.
about it. Don't
It's
quote me
been
on
so
that.
long. Yeah, and I don't.
Yeah, really don't quote me on anything. Everything I said earlier today, it's complete bullshit. Except it's not. It's really gonna happen.
Oh boy.
And that false vacuum, though. I think about it quite a bit.
Yeah, I do too. It's just like there were, I can never say their name. Kurzgesagt? It's something like that. I found them on YouTube, and they have those really like simplified videos,
Yeah,
and they had one on it as well,
sure.
and it was pretty good. And
Yeah.
like, it's nuts to think about.
Yeah, apparently a good percentage of cosmologists think, uh, believe that we are in a false vacuum when it comes to Higgs field.
Mm.
So,
Uh-oh. Well,
will
I
it
just got
happen in our
3
lifetime? No.
notifications.
For
We're
what?
gonna do some breaking news right now
Oh,
that
Queen Elizabeth's
President
dead.
Putin. No, President
Damn
Putin says
it.
Russia will conduct a military operation in the Ukraine. It
Ah,
is
you know what
now
it is?
official.
You know what it
Huh.
is? It's peacekeeping. He already said it. He
That's
said
what
it
they
the other
said
day. It's
earlier.
peacekeeping.
But I think this is the official, like, we're gonna go in and wreck
Well,
shop.
fucking. So the idea was they were gonna get Donbass and the other one that I don't know
Whatever I can't
of.
say the name of the other one. Forgot the other name actually, I should say.
And because under the pretense that the people that live there want to be part of Russia anyways, and they want to keep the peace, blah blah blah. And
Which is it's funny because
Russia's
it's
a
like,
big country. They like to keep the peace, just like the United States is a big country. We like to really keep the peace in the Middle East, even though we want the oil
yeah.
anyways.
Oh, was that all?
Um,
Everybody knows it at this point. It's but yeah, I don't know, man. It's just insane
and then
cheap.
somewhere earlier today they were saying a full invasion of the Ukraine is imminent from Russia. I was like, holy
Yeah.
shit.
Oh, he was already
Fuck,
blaming
man.
us, saying that he was like, well, it's their fault because they're ramping up all these tensions, and it's like, dude, everybody's responding to what you're doing, you gaslighter.
Did
Like,
you see Trump called him a genius earlier today?
yeah,
Not today, I think it was
that
yesterday, but still.
all these people are praising him now, and it's just insane
He's
that
so it's so insane that not even 35 years ago we were literally at war with them, and we had been at war with them for the past 50 years, you know?
yeah,
We fought
it's like
like a
okay,
70-year-long Cold War against them.
yeah,
Not
exactly.
70,
And
50
now,
years, but still. Like fuck, man. And the crazy thing is like a lot of people, they used to think that they used to say, well, you could say who's our biggest enemy, and everyone would be like Russia.
mm-hmm.
And now people are like, nah, Putin's a good guy.
Yeah,
That's what he wants you to think, and he
yeah,
sticks it in your butt.
that's
Oh shit,
well,
I'm
some
gonna
people are into that.
get murdered.
Okay. Knock, knock.
Did I
Who's there?
qualify? Nah, I'm
It's
not gonna
KGB.
qualify.
You come with us. Yeah, you answer some
KGB waits for
questions.
no one.
Maybe you come back, maybe you don't.
I hope this live stream doesn't get syndicated now because he's gonna hear that.
Ah, fuck him.
Because Putin likes to stick things in people's butts.
Gaddafi.
That's what I heard.
You know, I saw a fucking video. I saw one of those. Is it an Antonov? I believe is the name of the plane. That really huge one.
Oh yeah, the giant one. They like
Uh-huh.
world's biggest plane,
Yeah,
essentially.
I saw one of those in real
Anatov
life.
like 220V or some shit like that.
Yeah,
Uh,
dude,
I
insanely huge.
I saw our big plane, the C5 Galaxy, our biggest plane,
Well,
and that thing was fucking giant.
okay, so
Uh,
I'm glad that. Okay, no. So when I was in Kyrgyzstan, they were on the flight line, right? We had
uh-huh.
C5s, the C-130s,
Yeah.
all that shit.
C-130s.
So it's kind of funny when you drive past a C5 and you're like, holy shit, that's a big ass plane. And then you go maybe like 40, 50, 60 yards down, and then you're like, oh, there's an even bigger plane.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
It's hard to believe that those things they fly. Like so I've seen them in the air and they look like they're not even moving. They're so big. They're just fly so
Right.
slow, kind of like a bumblebee. You know, bumblebee kind of just like flies around like an asshole.
Here.
Fuck, man. So when I worked down in Tempe, I was in an office building right there on Tempe Town Lake, which is in the flight path for Sky Harbor. And like every Tuesday or every other Tuesday, they get some of maybe Luke or somewhere, some of the fighter jets in the supply planes from the military fly into Sky Harbor to do whatever the fuck they're doing.
Yeah.
And a C5 flew over my building, directly over it, probably 300 feet above us, and it shook
Harbor,
the whole building.
Right.
Fucking crazy.
There's a repair contractor down there.
Oh, really? And I think there is an air
yeah.
wing there too, like a reserve air wing.
Air Guard. That's where I was.
Yeah.
That was my base right there, actually.
And I know that some of the fighter jets fly into Scottsdale too sometimes.
Yeah, they have. I think it might be the same company, Cutter. I think that they have another one out there. They
Yep.
do repair contracts as well. Um, but yeah, they like. Oh man, I remember when those used to come in. You could. They would get everything at Scottsdale because it was like. There was a time. I'll have to dig it up, but I took a video of a Chinook coming in.
Cool. Well, the Mint's right there too.
Yeah. Well, I
So
wouldn't have said that out loud on a stream, but you're
yeah,
gonna have to edit
Scottsdale
that out
Mint,
later.
the club. It's right there.
Yeah.
Um,
So, but yeah, yeah, just they're insane, dude. That was actually what was funny when we were in Kyrgyzstan. Um, we had to do what's called like a SAM footprint check,
right.
and I'm pretty sure I can tell this on the air. That's really nothing, but it's so you just go and you check out where planes take off and land because that's when planes are most vulnerable. Like everybody knows that they're flying low, they're flying slow. That's a
That
good
does
time
make
to shoot
sense.
a
I did
rocket
not know
and take
that.
them out. Oh, you know, if you look it up online,
So
that's
SAM
all on
being
there.
surface to air missile.
Yep. And so, oh shit. So we, drive down to these ends of the runway when we had certain flights coming in, and like this base actually doesn't even exist anymore. Well, I mean, their airport's still there, but we ended operations there a long time ago. But so we'd go down there and we'd park and check it out. You know, you're watching, but
Yeah.
we were pulling the Wayne's World basically, where we're like, okay, it's coming in, so let's sit here and do these big ass fucking planes just fly over your head, and you're like, oh, you can't hear anything.
Yeah, you feel the
You're
power of America
drown. Yeah,
flying around.
it's nuts.
Even being down
I'm
at
on,
Luke, just listening to the fighter jets, even when they're just on the ground, they're just loud as
right?
fuck.
Mm-hmm. Those things are super loud, man. That's why I kind of have hearing loss. Not from the jets. I didn't work with the jets as much, but I worked with the bigger planes.
Yeah.
So it's just constant fucking taxiing and takeoff and stuff like that. It's like, man,
I
takes
went
a
with my
toll.
stepdad to he did like he used to work for its equipment rental, like the fucking construction rental company.
Hmm.
And we went to a Air Force base in North Carolina where they had a bunch of the Harrier jets back when
Oh,
they
that's
actually
cool.
had Harrier jets. I don't even think they use them anymore.
I think the
And
Marines still
seeing
do.
them take off vertically and go was like the coolest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. They were
Right.
so fucking cool. And that jet's from like the 60s. That
Yeah.
jet's from you're flying the fucking F4 Phantom, I think. It looks like it.
That's kind of like
Right
it,
around the
yeah.
same time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like a lot of these aircraft, and it's not even just the military. It's like these aircraft, because they're maintained so rigorously,
Hmm. Yeah.
um, they last forever. So it's just like you get on a 737, unless you're on something was developed later on, you're probably on something that was made before you were born. It's
Oh, I know.
constantly
I've flown on a few planes that were made before I was
right.
born.
Oh, what's that called? It's a theory. Oh, it's something ship. It's not Archimedes. It's damn it, this is gonna bother me.
I don't know.
Prometheus' ship,
Dude, I've
I
never heard of it.
think. So it's this theory because his ship is still around. His sailing ship. I'm gonna look it up because it's bothering the hell out of me.
Prometheus or Archimedes?
Prometheus.
Prometheus is the one that discovered fire.
Nah, whose ship is it then? Damn it.
Odysseus? The guy from the Odyssey? I don't fucking know. But anyways,
Um,
I'm starting to race, so I'm listening.
Prometheus ship. Theory.
Good luck, everyone.
Good luck, everyone.
Gotta do it. I feel like when I
Ship of
do it, I get a little good
Theseus.
luck. Who is
The
it?
ship of Theseus.
Theseus.
Okay,
I know him.
so the theory behind that, okay, it's so because let's say his ship still exists now, right? But you can't have a ship sit around that long. This is a wood ship, right? You can't have a ship sit around
Oh,
that
I
long.
think I know where you're going with this.
Exactly. Without replacing stuff.
Yeah, I do know
But
where you're going with this. I do know the story.
yeah, right? So at what point does it stop actually being his ship and become
Yeah. people apply that to the fact that our bodies are constantly regenerating. So
Right?
like over time, except for your brain, obviously. Uh, what
God, if only.
is it still you or is it something new?
Right?
Ah, man, I
There
completely
was,
forgot about that analogy.
you know what? We're gonna have to do an episode on that too, on the body as well, because there was something that I was
Okay, Andrew. Be
oh, I
ready.
was just reading it the other day, and it was a pretty good
Let's go.
read.
Let's go.
And basically, some of that
That's
stuff was being debunked, and they were saying it's not like every 7 years. It's like, oh, hey,
Car right.
oh, your
something's gone.
femur. I think it was like your femur is it regrows every takes 7 years for your femur to grow, so it's like you get a new femur every 7 years or something.
I don't know.
He's still there.
Ooh, I almost crashed again.
Anyways, how are you applying the story to what we were talking
Well, about those planes still existing. So,
about? Oh, okay. So,
you know, it's like, hey, this plane was, hey, this was an original Pan Am plane back in the day. You know, Leonardo DiCaprio was banging stewardesses on here, or flight attendants. Sorry, let's be correct here.
yeah.
Um, but you know, like, at what point has all these have all these pieces been replaced? And so is this plane actually from the 60s,
I know. Considering
or is it from
some of the
2000?
pieces probably have been replaced
Right, like
recently.
grandma's hip.
You know.
Yeah, grandma's from the 60s, but her hip ain't.
And her hip's gonna
You get
last
it,
longer. Well,
Car left.
right? But yeah, I was like, oh, well, that's pretty interesting. So I think that I had some stuff, but since we're nearing the end, I'll save the Elon Musk stuff for next time.
I mean, you can say I'm
Hold your
be
line.
racing for a little bit, so you can
Clear right.
say it if you
Clear
want.
right.
Matter.
Well, I figured
How
we
long have
could
we been going?
Clear right.
almost 2 hours now.
Shit. All right. Damn.
But come on, get up here then. Get up here. Jeez, these dogs, I swear. I'd actually like to do. I
How did
think
that
you
guy
know what.
get all the way over there?
Let's save it for next week because
Okay, Andrew.
there's just
Race to go.
more and
Next
more
exit.
news about Elon where it's just kind of like,
Behind is pitting.
About how he's not such a great guy. Yeah.
yeah, and I think that it's
10th position.
time and I don't want to say money. I mean, he's always had money. He's never wanted, you know. But it's just like, has this fame and power warped him?
Yeah, I think so.
You know, are we
So
gonna?
there was a I don't remember who I was listening to today on the Lex Friedman podcast,
Mm.
but he's one of the foremost experts in AI. He's saying that like he was like we need to be a little bit more realistic about this. Still pretty far away from general AI and really reliant recommender systems and things like that. He
Right.
personally said Elon Musk likes to say all of these things, but he doesn't have all of the knowledge, and he's really doing the public a disservice. It's nice to be hopeful. It's nice to be like think about the future, but Elon
Yeah.
Musk likes to say things are a lot closer than they really are.
Right.
Getting to Mars and having general AI. Like he even said that we were gonna have fully autonomous Teslas like 5 years ago, and we still don't. Even the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration is casting doubts on his ability to deliver on that.
Yeah. You know, speaking of that, I think it was GM actually just applied for permission to have the first vehicle without a steering wheel.
Oh, yeah. So what
Did you see that?
level 3 autonomy?
Yeah.
It's GM and Mercedes are the only two right now. I think. GM I think is applied for it, and Mercedes has it. So
Last lap was a 150.
has the license to do something like that.
3 seconds off the pace.
License to ill.
Yeah, field
Well,
communication, baby.
you know, I think I will. All right. Well then, I'll save some of that stuff for next week. I think I just had a little spark.
Oh, perfect.
So,
Yeah.
but I guess that you know, we can go ahead and wrap the stream up here
Yeah, I'm
before we
still
start
racing
rambling
for
on about
about
this.
It's 8 minutes, so we can ramble for a little bit.
All right, fine. I say because if I start to,
Still there.
I don't know what these dogs should do. But yeah,
I
Still there.
haven't raced this class, Formula V, in
Still there.
like a week, and just getting
Still
destroyed.
Clear left.
you sucked a week ago and you suck now.
I know, right? And I'm trying to talk the same.
Oh, he had nothing to do with it. That's all you.
I know.
Why can't I? Unguided bomb.
Pretty
I
good. I think we had a pretty girthy stream in terms of our content.
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
Right.
I'm happy about that. We need to keep it going. And if anybody's watching this and they have any ideas for what we can talk about next, got crazy shit to talk about, let us know and we'll do some research and bring it
Ooh,
up
I
on our
didn't
next
say that.
stream.
I already have a couple thoughts that I'll share with
I
you
got
when
a
we
few.
jump off. We can jump back into a party once we're done
Yeah,
with
yeah,
this,
yeah.
but I don't want to show my hand here. You gotta know when to hold them.
Uh-huh.
Know when to
And
fold
what?
'em.
Oh, shit, that's not what I was.
Know when to walk away and know when to run. Okay.
Oh, I'm usually
Never-
running.
You never count your table.
Run's the
Or you
first one
never
on
count
that
your
list
table,
for
damn
me.
it.
P10. That was
What's the count
halfway home. We've got plenty of
count
fuel.
something? King Cap
Captain Kangaroo.
King.
No. Oh. Yeah, I know the song. I actually just thought of some random trivia. Okay, so I remember when I was a kid, and I think we were still living out here, so that means I would have been 6 or 7 at this point. But I remember when Kenny Rogers Roasters came out, it was like the talk. You know,
Oh,
like,
dude. Don't get me
Oh,
started on
God,
Kenny Rogers Roasters,
All
man.
right, well, hold on.
Everybody in the South went apeshit for that shit.
Right? It was just like, we have to go. We have to. I mean, I love.
And it was
Kenny Rogers.
like
actually,
high class shit. At least it was for my family.
well, everybody down here in the South perceived it as high class shit. It was kind of garbage if you think about it.
We drive by it
And,
and my dad be like, "Hey, there's Kenny Rogers. We need to go there."
Right? It's like, I think about that like with lubies or furs now because you don't see those much anymore.
Right.
I'm like, oh man, I want to go have that garbage food. Out of all that could have survived all of that, I think that Golden Corral did not deserve it. But anyway, so all right, so obviously, like many of those buffets and stuff, lost popularity here. Most of them went bankrupt and whatnot. But apparently, somewhere in Asian, oh man, was it? I don't think it was Vietnam.
I don't know. Maybe
It was
Japan.
somewhere.
Japanese
But
people love
it
their
might,
fried chicken.
it might still be. Well, it wasn't just fried chicken though. I mean, it was a full.
Kind of like Boston
buffet
Market
and stuff.
style. Yeah.
Yeah, but so apparently it's still like kicking and thriving somewhere in an Asian country, and it's just
okay.
like a big deal. And I
Well,
was
let's go to this Asian country then.
Yeah, well, I don't know, man. I mean, I wouldn't mind going to the Asian country, but for Kenny Rogers Roasters, I don't think so. I can just remember, like, I think it got to a point with them where things got so bad that it was kind of like those pictures you see where they're like, hey, this is mac and cheese, but it's obviously just boiled pasta with like Kraft slices thrown over the top and melted.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
hey.
cool. That's good stuff.
I remember being a kid, right? And I got something that was barbecue, whether it was like a rib or something like that, and tasting the sauce, and was like, "The fuck is this?" You know what I mean? I was so disappointed. I was just like, "Man,
Can't imitate something like that. You can't bullshit a bullshitter.
no."
Yeah. You can't imitate Southern food to someone who's Southern.
Yeah. I remember there was one time, I forget the name of the restaurant, but it was my grandma, grandpa, and I had gone out to eat, and went to this barbecue place, and we had ribs, and I mean, these ribs were good from one of those like semi-chain type places, right? And I was like, those are some really good ribs. I was like, man, we were like talking, hey, we could. Well, so she goes out and buys ribs, and I don't think she did. I couldn't really remember, but I was like, did she take the membrane off the back? You know what I mean? Like, no, she didn't. Now I remember, she didn't. This is like repressed memory time. And so she didn't take the membrane off of that, and then she boiled them. And I'm like, why are you boiling these ribs? I don't know how to cook ribs, but I know something's wrong here. And it's just like, okay. And then she takes them out, after boiling them, she takes them out and then puts barbecue sauce on them and then puts them in the oven to bake them.
2 minutes.
And I was just like, this still isn't right. I'm like, I'm not
Yeah.
eating these. I was like, there's something way wrong with this. And then years later found out that, you slow smoke ribs. And I was like, I knew it. But
I
to be
knew it.
fair, yeah, I was like, as a kid, as a Texas-born kid, I knew it.
Right.
But yeah, but I mean, free pass. She's originally from the Midwest. They're up there from,
Eh.
you know. Yeah, you live in the Midwest,
It's the heebie-jeebies. I constantly walking around like.
right?
All right,
Well, those are your
chat.
people
All right,
now.
viewers. We're gonna cut it here.
Well, we thank you.
Thanks for coming out. See
We'll
you
have
same
some
time
new
next.
topics for next week. Yeah.
See you
So,
same time next Wednesday.
adios.